What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I'm going to go over the ending as well as the post-credit scene of Marvel's Avengers. So this is obviously going to contain spoilers. If you guys haven't played it or you don't want to see the ending, don't want to hear about the ending, turn away now. Now, nothing really should be all that surprising, but I do want to talk about a couple specific aspects of the ending, mainly in terms of setting up DLC. We're going to pick up where Cap is already saved. Okay, so Captain America obviously does not die. He was mainly captured, right? You break him out as Iron Man, return, going to stop MODOK, right? That's the final mission of this game. Boss battle with him. Now, I don't want to go over literally every single small piece of dialogue in this game. The biggest things to note, and I also have seen this online as well, is people are very, very upset at what they did to Hulk at the end of this game. MODOK basically incapacitates Hulk. Kamala turns into her fully enlarged self, takes out MODOK, kind of a one-on-one gigantic boss battle, and ends up defeating him. We don't know if he's necessarily dead, although he does fall out of the Kree Sentry's head, and I do believe that is a Kree Sentry. It's not a Sentinel, which a lot of people are calling it, or a lot of people are kind of debating online whether it's one or the other. I do not actually believe it's a Sentinel, although if you think it is and you're passionate enough about it, you can definitely let me know in the comments below. But MODOK is defeated. Kamala goes back home, where her dad basically tells her, hey, you know, you're going to be stuck here for a very long time, although you are allowed to officially be an Avenger. This is pretty much Kamala's story from beginning to end. She's the reason the Avengers reassemble in this game. And so, and again, opinions aside, this is not really an opinion kind of video of whether this is a good or bad ending. You guys can definitely let me know as well. But this really was always her story. Having her be the one to defeat MODOK was, I think, always kind of the way it was going to go. Again, whether you liked it or not, that's definitely up to you. So MODOK is defeated. Now, throughout the game, you're led to believe that he's kind of the one in charge, right? He kills Monica halfway through, maybe a little bit more than halfway through the game. She's gone, you know, Abomination, all that stuff. It's really only those three to begin with. Then we get the end credits, okay, or the post-credit scene in which we find out Monica is actually still alive. So the one that was killed, the one that was kind of with MODOK throughout the entire game, that was a clone. There's a lot of talk about Inhumans and cloning and all of these different abilities throughout the game, and it's kind of a main part of this game in terms of all the Easter eggs, all of the references, but in terms of, you know, a video like this even, also about the future. A lot of things that could potentially be used to introduce brand new characters, brand new villains in the future. Now, this actually isn't all that surprising if you saw the War Table event, War Table number 3 that premiered yesterday. They showed Kate Bishop and they showed Clint, and he was, you know, seemingly working with the enemy, and they said how it takes place right after the ending of the game, and you see Monica is there, kind of in charge. So, I mean, technically they spoiled the ending of the game in the fact that she is not dead. That was not actually her. You can tell actually by her eyes. Her eyes are two different colors when MODOK kills her. So that isn't actually her. She is still in charge of AIM, and she basically goes off to talk about the future, about the possibilities of cloning, about the possibilities of a lot of other things that AIM is going to be able to do and how they are going to get started. Then we go back to the War Table with all of the Avengers, and Maria Hill is telling them about basically flare-ups, how it seems like AIM has somebody else in control, how there's things popping up all over the place, and we need to investigate it to figure out what's happening. The Avengers say they're going to do it. That's pretty, boiled down, that's pretty much it. But what does it all mean? Well, in terms of an explanation, and people may not like this, again, I'm not really going to sound off on this until future videos, this 1000% was an ending to set up more. Now, and you could like that, you could not like that, but the way they did it, taking out basically the main bad guy, right, in MODOK, but also now having an actual villain that's still there, that's kind of pulling the strings, and the potential, and I should probably say this, then you see that green thing pop out of the Kree Sentry and fly up into the sky. So now people are speculating, what is that going? Could that be going to Ronin? Could that be going to a Kree in general? I personally kind of go along with that. I feel like it's probably a way to get somebody like Captain Marvel in this game. And again, that's kind of the way that I think we need to think about this. In fact, even Monica, she, as in like the comic lore, she has a lot of interactions with a lot of different Avengers. So I feel like the way they're going with this, the way they're going with AIM, the way they're going with the technology of AIM, the way they really ended MODOK's story was fully just to get other Avengers into this game. So we know Kate Bishop, we know Clint's, right? So we know those are the first two. Captain Marvel has got to be one. I mean, there's so many references, so many mentions of her in this game. We know, obviously, Spider-Man in terms of a PlayStation 1. I saw a lot of people even saying, could the cloning, could they move that into like a Miles Morales kind of territory? Like, what do they mean necessarily by the cloning? There's a lot of stuff that I feel like they put in there kind of on purpose just to set up the future of this game. Not necessarily a second game, although I do think a second game, could happen as long as this game is successful. But I think mainly the ending of this game, especially with Monica still being alive, we see her obviously again with Clint in that war table, that trailer. This was very, very much to set up how are we going to get future characters into this game. Even like a Black Panther with a Wakanda, you have to imagine a Black Panther appears in this game at some point, right? Ant-Man, all these different things. In fact, she has a direct correlation in the comics to Hank Pym, so maybe that is how they get Ant-Man in there. There's a lot of things they could potentially do, but that in a nutshell is the ending. Beat MODOK. Bruce basically thanks Kamala for still having hope, for keeping everybody together, all that kind of stuff. Again, we see kind of the AIM table of all of these still people, I guess, in the shadows, right, discussing that, hey, they're still around, they're still maybe they had some setbacks, but they're going to be pretty powerful. And then we skip away to Maria Hill, which, by the way, again, with Maria Hill talking about all these things popping up, I know we're going to have to do some investigation. That is basically how you set up future missions in the war table, because you say, okay, well, this is popping up at this place of the world. Oh, this has to do with AIM. This is how we get this character in. You know what I mean? So again, all of it I feel like is very, very set up to get brand new characters into this, two of which, I guess three if you count Spider-Man, we already know. So guys, now is the time. Let me know in the comments below, what'd you think of the ending? Again, I don't want to necessarily talk about my thoughts yet. I do want to do that in future videos, talk about if it's a bad ending, talk about all things like that. But let me know what you think about this game in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And I'm going to be continuing my coverage of Avengers. I'm doing at least one video a day, every day for the foreseeable future. Yesterday started, today's the next day. We're going to be talking about all aspects of this game, future of this game, all things like that going forward, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.